Hey, I'm Michael. I've got questions, a lot of them. Sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I really don't. Sometimes I look things up, and other times I just pull from my own life or somewhere else and hope I land on something real. Either way, this is You're Probably Right, so let's crank it up and see where it takes us. All right, y'all, what's up? This is Michael, aka MCM, and this is You're Probably Right podcast, and I'm appreciating you showing up, hanging out with me. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're just trying to fall asleep, so you need to find something boring to listen to. Well, hey, I'm your guy. If you're looking for something as you've just woken up and now you're on your long trek, whatever it is, to work or school or wherever you're going, I'm here for you. Just consider me your friend, and I'm just saying some stuff. That's about it. Oh man, let me move this thing. I think you're going to like this one. For those people who are awkward, who don't understand the weird nuances of life and how people talk to you sometimes, and you're trying to read between the lines, trying to see the gray areas, because some people aren't so direct when they speak, then this podcast might be for you. Of course, this is for someone who is wondering if someone likes them pretty much at the end of the day, or maybe still likes them, who knows, or loves them, or cares for them. You know, all the different things people say instead of just saying, I love you. Right? It's like, I love you. Well, I care for you deeply, or I really care about you, or I'm really starting to get attached to you. You know, those types of things, like nuance. Maybe it should be called social skills for adults, whatever. Anyhow, I'm going to go through, actually I had 18, but I actually looked it up and I was able to dig up 30. So this should be really good, I hope. Anyhow, check it out. You ever talk to someone and walk away thinking, wait, were they flirting or just being nice? Or maybe you were the one dropping those half sentences and soft hints, those lines that sound innocent on the surface, but underneath, if the person takes time to really think about it, which a lot of us do, right? Questions, you know, basically that you're too afraid to ask out loud, and the person who said whatever they said out loud wasn't very direct. They're beating around the bush, or you're beating around the bush. Either way, trying to get around that. Anyways, listen, we do this all the time. Men do it, women do it. People who want connection but fear rejection do it the most. Yeah. It's that emotional middle ground where you don't want to expose yourself, so you test the temperature of the room with tiny comments, hoping the other person will pick up on them, interpret them correctly, and make the first move for you. It's subtle, it's ambiguous, it's a breadcrumb trail of I'm interested, but only if you are. Get it? Wink, wink. This episode isn't about manipulation or game playing. It's about the human fear of vulnerability, the fear of misreading vibes, the fear of caring more than the other person does. So today, we're breaking down the 30 things people say. And the reason why I'm going 30 is because I literally have to type it in here in this script, because yeah, I figured I'd just give you more bang for your buck, you know what I mean? And you're not spending $1, so hey, here we go. You know, when people are trying to communicate interest without fully exposing themselves, these are the phrases people use when they want a connection but don't feel safe yet. When they want clarity but won't risk actually giving clarity and being direct. When their heart is leaning forward but their ego is leaning back. If you've ever been confused by someone's mixed messages, mixed messages are messages. The question is, why are they sending you that particular message? I guess is the thing you have to decipher and figure out. But anyways, if you've ever been on a side of either sending them or receiving them, then this episode is for you. How long did that take? 4 minutes and 28 seconds. All right, whatever. That was everything. Come on. All right, here we go. Let's see. The first one. You're different. Natural translation, honestly, I've never met anyone like you, and it scares me how little it scares me a little how much you stand out to me. For example, after a lovely night out, he lingers at the door, struggling with his nerves. Finally, he smiles and says, you're different, hoping she'll understand the depth of what he truly means. You understand, right? Right. That's something that people say. Next one. Let me delete that spot there. Um, I don't usually open up like this. Huge. Natural translation. I've never opened up to anyone, but with you, I want to. It's a little scary, but in a good way. For example, on a late night phone call, she finds herself sharing childhood stories and then laughing softly, saying, I don't usually open up like this. It's her way of revealing that, he makes her feel safe enough, comfortable enough, vulnerable enough, or okay to be vulnerable enough so that she can she can say things that she's never said before. I really should have double spaced this before. Oh my goodness. All right, number 3. I don't know why I told you that. Right? You know why you told him that. Because you like. Translation, I only shared this because I feel so comfortable with you, which actually makes me a little nervous. For example, after revealing an embarrassing story from his past, he shakes his head and says, I don't know why I told you that. The truth is, he feels unusually at ease with her, and that intimacy is both soothing and settling. And it really is. If you've ever been in that situation where maybe you've self-revealed something that you wouldn't normally tell anybody, or one of those things that nobody knows, preemptively before somebody says, tell me something you've never told anyone before. Right? All right, moving right along because we got 30 of these. How about this one? You get me. See, that's also a double meaning there, if you think about it. So the translation is, you really get me. And to be honest, it's a bit scary for me. I'm not used to letting someone in like this. For example, while sitting together, after a long conversation, she looks at him and she looks amazed and she says, you get me. Her heart races because feeling so understood is so wonderful yet terrifying for someone who's been guarded for years, and maybe you just met, or maybe you just had your first real actual conversation. All right, moving right along. This is good. No? Yeah, come on. You know it's good. All right. Number 5. I don't want to make things weird. Now, maybe it's a friend or whatever the case is. But anyway, the translation is, I want more with you, but I'm terrified of ruining the thing we have by pushing it too far. So maybe you're just friends now, or maybe you've known each other for a long time and somehow you've brought yourself into a new era or new arena, let's just say, new situation, new type of relationship, and you're worried about ruining what you already have. Anyhow, during a heartfelt chat on her couch, she fidgets with her mug and says, I don't want to make things weird. She's hinting that she has deeper feelings, but is scared to jeopardize their friendship. Simple, right? Good. Number 6. Here we go. What type of person do you usually go for? And obviously, anybody's ever said that generally is usually saying, I hope I'm your type. But let's see, for the sake of it, it says, the translation, I'm just wondering if someone like me could ever be your type. For example, he casually asks her over for drinks. What type of person do you usually go for? He's really fishing to see if he might fit the description, revealing his hope that he could be someone she'd choose. Simple enough, right? All right, let's move right on to number 7. See, guys, there's no commercial in the middle of this thing. I'm just giving you exactly what you want. Number 7. Has anyone caught your eye lately? Has anyone caught your eye lately? Translation, of course. I'm only asking because secretly I hope I'm the one who caught your attention. For example, A woman in her late 30s asks her friend, "Has anyone caught your eye lately?" She's hoping his answer might hint at her, trying to gauge if he feels, some same unspoken attraction. And these things are obviously very nerve-wracking because even getting the nerve to even say some of these things, someone who's really, really aware, or someone like you, after listening to this episode, will be equipped to know all of these things that people say. Now, this is just 30, but these are, I would say, a pretty extensive list where someone is going to say something like this, or you're going to say or have said something like this. And, anyhow. Number 8, we should hang out again sometime. Natural translation. Listen, I had a great time and I'd love to see you again soon because I really enjoy being around you, for example. Now, just thinking about it, how would you feel saying that to someone? Okay, remember, I'm just your friend, man. I'm over here. I'm MCM. I'm Michael, and I'm just talking to you. I'm just saying. Let's just say you like somebody. You're hanging out. I don't know. Maybe you thought it was really funny, so you wanted to go on your first date. You went on your first date, but your date was a strange type of date. What it was, let's just say you jumped on the subway. And maybe you were from wherever, whoever the closest is to you. Anyway, you got on the subway and you're riding on the subway for as long, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. Maybe you did a full loop of your city or whatever it is. And then you said this. Imagine you saying this: "I had a great time. I'd love to see you again soon because I really enjoy being around you." Now, a lot of people will actually say, well, okay, not a lot. I can't really throw a percentage at you, but there are some people who are really, really direct. And actually, when they're this direct, they a lot of time freak people out at first because most people aren't. But check it out. Maybe at the end of an evening, a fun afternoon together, he smiles and says, "We should hang out again sometime." He hints that he'd love another get together, showing how much he enjoys her company without coming on too strong. So that's why you would just say, "You know what? We should hang out again sometime." It's easy, breezy, and it gives her a chance to say, "Yeah, but I'm busy right now," or "Yeah, for certain," or "Yeah, you know what? I was going to say the same thing to you." You know what I mean? Like, the person can kind of let you off the hook, even though you've kind of let yourself off the hook. But it is exciting when these things happen and people click in this way. All right. Next one. "I'm free this weekend." Wink, wink. "Not sure what I'll do." So the wink, wink part is the part where you're supposed to come through. Anyway, translation: "I'm basically hinting that I'd love to spend that time with you if you're free too." For example, she mentions, "I'm free this weekend. Not sure what I'll do," and then pauses. Hopefully, in that truth, she's inviting him without directly saying it. Hopefully, hoping he'll suggest they, do something together, hang out together. Right? That's simple. As I said, some of these are easier to say than others. Sometimes you might as well just say it straight up, but depending on what kind of guts you got. Okay, number 10. I'm really glad we're friends." Translation: "I'm truly grateful to have you in my life, even if part of me wishes it could be more than just friendship." Now, that is a stretch, but generally, if somebody's really glad they're friends, it's possible. That one is kind of on the fence there for me. If somebody said that, I would just say, "Yeah, man, me too." I consider you a close, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely wouldn't leave them hanging. That's like a that's like a give me five or high five up top. You know what I mean? But I guess you can push it beyond the friendship zone, I guess, with that one, I suppose. Anyhow, example: a dude says, he's telling his long-time female friend, "I'm really glad we're friends," with a meaningful look, right? He genuinely treasures her And though he doesn't say it outright, he sometimes dreams about something more between them, but he's too scared to say it. Got no guts, brother. All right. Number 11. Where are we? 15 minutes? Oh, this is sweet. All right, great. You're too good for me. Okay, honestly, I feel like you're way too good for me, and it scares me because I really want to be someone who deserves you. For example, during a serious conversation, he sighs and says, huh, you're too good for me. It's his insecure way of expressing how highly he thinks of her and how afraid he is that he's not worthy of her love or to be around her in that way. So he's being vulnerable. If a guy says that to you, um, unless he's, has some tricks up his sleeve, then he really likes you. Okay, next one. I want to take things slow. Now, if you're just looking, want to take things slow, oh my gosh, how long is this going to take? Like, it depending on the person, right? But the point is, what you need to pay attention, you don't pay attention to slow. If you pay attention to slow, the word slow in that phrase, you'll be like, oh man, here we go. But no, it's I want to take things. That's the point. You need to hang on to that part. Anyway, translation, I really like you. I just think we should take our time so I don't risk messing anything up. For example, on their third date, he admits I want to take things slow. He's clearly into her, but still cautious from, past hurts or, bad situations or whatever it is. So moving slowly is his way of protecting this budding relationship while he builds trust, right? And that's a nice thing. Somebody says they want to take things slow. I mean, it's different to say, I want to take things slow and see other people. That's a whole nother story. Okay, number 13, lucky number 13. What we got? I just got out of a relationship. Natural translation. Listen, I do like you, but I'm still a bit shaken from my last relationship, and I'm afraid of jumping into something serious again soon. For example, a woman in her 40s, recently divorced, tells her date, I just got out of a relationship. With hesitation and a smile, she's letting him know she has feelings for him, but needs to move careful because she's still healing. That's simple enough. But the fact that, they're telling you that, is a good sign because they could just ghost you. Ghost. A funny phrase. I'm going to ghost you. All right. Number 14. Again. And again, I think with a lot of these, it's like if you just pull out the right word and pay attention to the right set of words in the phrase, you probably get what they're saying. Like this one. I'm terrible at this. So what is this? What does this mean? Do you understand? Right. Translation, I know I'm awkward at dating. I'm only this nervous because I really like you. I don't want to mess this up. For example, halfway through their date, he chuckles at himself and says, I'm terrible at this. He's been fumbling with his words all evening because of her presence. Her presence has him so eager to impress that he keeps tripping over his own efforts, which, it happens to be when you're nervous, right? So sometimes the best way to get over some of your nervous feelings is to actually address them and say them out loud, like, oh man, I'm really horrible. Usually, if the person is into you too, instead of just sighing and smiling, usually the person will let you off the hook and say, don't worry, you're good. I get that the same way, or whatever it is. And usually that will smooth over someone's nerves for the most part once the person lets them off the hook, right? Okay, number 15. You're one of my favorite people. One time somebody said to me, and it's still, I don't know why I'm so jumpy today, guys. I think it's the coffee. But one time someone said to me, they said, "You're the funniest person I know." I was like, "What?" I was so flattered, and it wasn't. I don't believe they had any ulterior motives. It was just the fact of somebody actually saying that to you. You're the funniest person I know. I thought that was so cool. I'm like, yeah, man, like a comedian. Of course, all I did after that was try to be even funnier because, like, man, I don't want to lose my one person audience. uh, Memories. Anyhow, the translation. You're honestly one of my absolute favorite people, which is my way of saying to you, or saying you mean more to me than you realize. For example, during a late night text exchange, she types, "You're one of my favorite people." She means it sincerely. He's not just another friend, and she hopes he sees the affection behind her words because she could be scared to, come forth, or she's hoping that he will. Some guys, some girls, guys, if you if you don't reach out, they ain't gonna reach out either. But I'm just saying. Anyhow, I guess that doesn't really. Hopefully, you understand what I mean. Anyhow, number 16. I feel like I can be myself around you. That. Hopefully, the person's being honest. If somebody says that to you, I feel like I can be myself. That's like you. Maybe you were on page 7 and page 8. When somebody says something like that to you, it opens a whole book to you. It's like, okay, I can be myself. This is amazing. So the translation for that one is, with you, I feel completely free to be myself. And that's incredibly rare for me and so comfortable. It shows how much I trust you. And that's, for example, he confides during a long evening walk or a train ride. Yeah. I feel like I can be myself around you. Coming from a man who's usually guarded, it's a sign of comfort and closeness he feels with her, hinting a deeper affection. Yeah, that one's nice to hear. All right, next one. Number 17. I look forward to talking to you. So, translation. Honestly, chatting with you is often the highlight of my day. I really look forward to it every time. For example, she ends her workday and calls him saying, "I look forward to talking to you." It's her gentle way of letting him know that hearing his voice is often the best part of her day, showing how much he's actually on her mind. You know, it's funny, and I think sometimes some of us, even if you're in a relationship, you're married, or whatever the case is, I think that we should use these more. It's like not necessarily revealing how you exactly feel, but obviously sometimes your partner, your husband, your wife may need you to be totally direct, but sometimes you want to say something like this so it gets the person's mind going and thinking about you. Do you understand? So saying something like, "I look forward to talking to you all day, honey." Like, I think the next day you go to work, you're just doing your thing. You say, "Oh, man, this guy is somewhere. He's at work and he just can't wait to get on the phone with me after work to tell me about his day or listen about my day and all that stuff." And that just makes people feel really warm inside for sure. Okay, the next one. Number 18. If only things were different. Now, this one sadly can be one of those where they're in a bad relationship and they've somehow met together. Not a good situation to be trying to, step out of the situation. It's best not to even say this one if that's where you're at. Because it can hold, trust me, it can open up a whole can of worms that you don't want to eat. For real. Okay, so translation. If circumstances were different, I'd want to be with you. I really would. For example, two close friends sit together late at night. She whispers, "If only things were different." They both know she means that another time or situation she'd choose to be with him if fear or life's complications weren't holding her back. And again, This is not something you want to hear from someone who's married or totally attached or married with 4 kids or whatever. You like, I don't really like this one, but it is something that people say, and I don't suggest you say this to anyone. If you're married or you're in a long-term relationship, you got kids, or you're just not available. If you're not available, just stay unavailable, but don't say that one. All right, next one. Number 19. Number 19. What did I say last time? No, anyway, 19. I'm not seeing anyone right now. Natural translation. Just so you know, I'm completely single. I'm basically letting you know I'm available, especially to you. Now, I mean, I'm not seeing anyone right now. I guess that's fair. That's a good one. For example, during a chat about dating, he casually mentions, I'm not seeing anyone right now, and then watches her reaction really, really closely, even if he's pretending he's not. He's hinting at his availability, hoping she'll realize he's subtly opening the door for something to happen between them. Easy, right? Right. Okay, number 20. This made me think of you. And people do this all the time. Sometimes it's a meme, like they'll send you a text or whatever it is, or send you something from Facebook or Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, Instagram or whatever is popping these days. Maybe I shouldn't even say those things. But anyway, I try to keep it evergreen. You know how that I do. Anyway, it says, this made me think of you. So you pop into my mind even when we're apart. Like, when I saw this, I immediately thought of you. For example, she sends him a song. A song says, this made me think of you. It's a small way of showing that he's often in her thoughts. A hint at how important he's become to her. That's nice. Next one. Number 21. I was just telling my friends about you. Man, that's a good one. If you hear somebody say that to you. I talk about you to people in my life because you're important to me and always on my mind. For example, over lunch, she grins and says, I was just telling my friend about you. The fact that he comes up in her everyday conversation shows how much value she has in him, and hints at her growing affection for him. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I have those episodes. I don't know. I mean, maybe people like you when I'm a little bit jumpy and coffee or whatever it is. I just need to slow it down. All right, here we go. Number 22. Let's see. Yeah, number 22. I wish we could stay like this a little longer. Translation: I'm enjoying being with you so much that I really don't want this moment to end. Beautiful. For example, snuggled on the couch after a movie, he murmurs, I wish I could stay like this, or we could stay like this a little longer, you know? But maybe he has to get up to go to work, or he has to go and pick something up, or he has to do something that no matter what, even if you would just like to sit there and talk, maybe close your eyes and just imagine a couple who just watched a movie. They have a solarium, so above them is only glass, behind them only glass, and then on the other side is the actual house that they're actually staying in. And let's just say it's a full moon, but one of those big moons, those pizza size shaped in the sky, type of moon. And and then the movie was over and it's wonderful, and maybe you talked an extra 20 minutes about the movie after the movie. It was that type of a movie, and it's like you don't want to go anywhere. but he has to absolutely leave. And yeah, so that's where that one works. Let me slow this down, y'all. 23, I only got 30. Or this one, you always know how to make me smile. That one is amazing. That would melt me into thinking that, I can be myself around this person. I can give my, all of my jokes, all of my wit, all of my knowledge, understanding, and fun, all rolled up into meanness. No matter what kind of day I'm having, you can always brighten it. How much or how special you are to me. That would just knock anybody's socks off. For example, after a long day, she tells him, "You always know how to make me smile." It's her heartfelt way of saying that he has a unique ability to lift her mood, showing just how dear and how he affects her. 24. Let's just see where this goes. Obviously, letting him know that where this goes. And she's hoping, those are the words, this goes. And if something goes, that means it's working, right? So, anyway, natural translation, not my translation. I do want to be with you. I'm just a bit scared to rush into labels. So I'd rather let things unfold naturally. For example, when discussing what comes next for them, he gently says, "Let's just see where this goes." He expresses that he cares for her, but is afraid to define the relationship too quickly, preferring to move forward and, just be careful. And he's being honest, right? Not some tricks. Okay, number 25. I appreciate you a lot. Translation: I hope you know how much I truly value you. I appreciate you more than I can really put in words. For example, after he helps her through a difficult week, she gives him a warm smile, maybe even a hug, and says, "I appreciate you a lot." Maybe just a smile, okay? "I appreciate you a lot." In her eyes and tone, it's clear she's expressing deep gratitude and affection that goes beyond casual appreciation. Now, I'm just saying that one, this person better be a very good communicator with their voice and their facial expressions, because although they're natural, but just you have to really be plain when you're doing this one, because that could just be a friend. I've heard lots of people say appreciate. Matter of fact, in some southern states, they say appreciate you like regularly. So anyhow, 26. I'm here if you need anything. That one, well, it means I want you to know I'll always be here for you because you really do matter, right? That's like open door, hello, I like it, right? And that's sensing her stressing. He tells her gently, "I'm here if you need anything." He's showing he cares deeply and is ready to support, acting very much like someone who hopes to be a bigger part of her life, right? Easy. 27. I just want you to be happy, right? Translation: your happiness honestly matters more to me than anything, or a lot. I care about you that much, even if it means I'm not the one by your side, right? So this is, again, this one can be a little bit sticky if it's somebody trying to weasel in on somebody's marriage. For example, anyhow, as she struggles with a tough choice, he tells her softly, "I just want you to be happy." It's a selfless assurance that comes from genuine love. He'd rather see her happy, even if it's without him, then push his own desires. Like, yeah, if somebody's being honest, then yes, this is very good, but it really just sounds like a cheesy line. You know what I mean? But I mean, I guess if somebody's really being honest and they're able to communicate what they're saying and make sure they say it in the right way, then yeah, it could be really nice. 28. I was nervous to see you today. Right. Tells you that your opinion matters, straight up. But translation, I was excited to see you and it gave me butterflies. Wow. That's how much I care about you. Now, again, this person has to be a really good communicator. With this one, it could be like what the person starts scanning your face for like a new pimple that popped up in the middle of your forehead or something like that. Like just for them to be nervous, like nervous can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and that would be that one's a little bit ambiguous, I would say, for sure. Next one. 29. Right. I'm not sure what this is, but I like it. Right. So if you're looking in those words, the operative word is this is I like it. Don't even worry about that but. That but's just there to soften the blow just in case you don't feel the same way. Anyhow, whatever we have between us, it feels really special to me. I don't know exactly what to call it. It if it's it is something, right? So we have something here. I don't know what to call this something, you could say, instead of it, but I know I want it to continue. For example, cozy on the sofa together, she looks at him and says, I'm not sure what this is, but I like it. She embraces the uncertainty of their relationship while making it clear that it makes her happy and she hopes it's growing, right? Number 30. You mean a lot to me. Again, this is one of those where, it depends on how this person communicates it and when and how they say it to you, right? But it's supposed to mean, I hope you know how important you are to me. You truly mean so much in my life, even if I haven't outright said everything I feel. Now, yeah, but again, the communication, hopefully up until that point, is really good. For example, as they hug goodbye, he whispers, you mean a lot to me. Right? I guess, yeah, the whisper, I guess. This one's kind of cheesy. I guess every time I've laughed at one of these, yeah. In his embrace and tone, it's clear he's conveying deep affection and maybe even love without using those exact words, being safe. But man, that's a lot of cheese on that hamburger. Anyhow, the psychology of breadcrumb signals. Let's see. Breadcrumb signals show up when someone fears rejection. So they just throw a little thing out there and see if you bite, right? Someone fears misreading you. Good. Next one, someone feels attraction but lacks confidence, right? Someone is avoidant and avoids direct vulnerability. So they have to say, they just have to give you the okie doke to just kind of spin you around and ask you a question, and hopefully you'll just blurt out what they need to hear. Someone wants connection, but not the responsibility of saying it first, right? And lastly, someone sees you as emotionally stronger and doesn't want to risk any type of imbalance. Breadcrumbs are the language of the emotionally cautious. The weaker emotional position always communicates indirectly, right? The stronger emotional position communicates directly. So the more clear you are, is the stronger emotionally you will come off and be. But when you're kind of worming around, running around all over the place just to get to the point that you could have got to 10 seconds before you got to it in 10 seconds, yeah, if you can be direct, of course you have to be expressive. You can't be like, like just plain and monotone with it. There has to be some rising and falling of your voice and some facial, expressions. Otherwise, it's gonna sound wild. So the indirect people want relief from pressure, confirmation without exposure, and connection without vulnerability. And it's not that they're being manipulative, and they're just honestly being human. You see, when you hear breadcrumbs, well, what it reveals about them. Breadcrumbs tell you four things: they care. Nobody breadcrumbs flirts with someone they don't feel something for, right? They fear your rejection, so that's why they're not coming straight out with it, meaning your opinion matters more than you might think and more than they would actually be able to admit, even though it's real. They're trying to protect their heart. This is a self-preserving type of disguise, as casual talk. They say it, something just so it doesn't hit as hard if they're totally off, right? And fourthly, they're inviting you to meet them halfway. So I said a little something, your turn to say a little something to make me feel comfortable with what I'm revealing right now. I guess what a guy can learn from this: men often misread ambiguous signals as rejection, but in reality, these signals are often meaning, please don't hurt me. Please tell me you feel it too. Please lead because I can't risk it. Ambiguity is fair, basically just wearing makeup. What women can learn from this? Women often assume men understand subtle cues, and most of the time we have no idea what the heck you're talking about. Most men don't. Men hear your hints as curiosity, friendliness, politeness, mixed signals. That's exactly how it is. If you're interested, clarity helps more than you think with guys. Think about how many relationships never started. Not because two people didn't feel something, but because both were waiting for the other to expose themselves first, and nobody doesn't like to do that. That sounded brown. That sounded well. Nobody likes to do that. Nobody wants to put themselves out there first. Ambiguity protects the ego, but starves the connection. And sometimes you starve for too long and it dies, right? You cannot build a future on half sentences and nervous hints. At some point, someone has to step out of the shadow and say, I meant what I said, and here's what I really mean. Until then, you're both whispering in a fog. This has been. You're probably right. Anyhow, y'all, till next time, thanks for coming out and listening. As I said, if you can like or subscribe or thumbs up or rate, with a good rating, of course, I would really appreciate it. Anyhow, till next time, take care. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while, understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.